Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome to another video here at Fully Collectible. This is a video to start the new year. Welcome to 2024, and this is a recap of my 2023 in the hobby, basically. Things that I picked up and things that I was able to hit from 2023. That was some of my absolute favorite things that I did in the hobby, so I'm not going to try and make this too long. I'll talk a little bit about each card, where it came from, and why I was chasing it in particular. It doesn't seem like too much. Certainly a lot of the stuff that I was picking up last year was of the more high end. Some of the players that I were chasing, their prices were just crazy, just absolutely crazy, and I had to limit other things that I was buying in order to be able to get the cards that I really wanted. So anyone who's chased a #1 draft pick knows exactly what I'm on about. It's crazy what their prices are like. So anyway, we'll get stuck in, and this is really where my chase for the year started, because NFL came out before AFL started releasing product. So I spent probably the first 3 or 4 months of the year really chasing Chris Olave. So my team in the NFL are the New Orleans Saints. Love the colours and love the logos, and I thought that they were a good chance at having some success. They've had a very, very hit and miss year. 2022 going 23 going into 24. I don't think they'll be contending for a Super Bowl. They've had a very started off so strong and definitely kind of dropped off. This is one of my favorite autos that I picked up of Chris Olave. It's numbered to 199, so nothing too short printed, but still a super clean looking card. Some NFL cards can be a little bit over designed and become a bit muddy and a bit messy. This one's nice and clean, so I was very happy to pick that up. Not pulling out too much of his stuff. I did find a lot of Chris Olave cards. Like, the stack of cards I have for him is huge, but because there's so many NFL sets, like Panini just releases a crazy amount of sets. I've got a heap of cards of him, but they're usually lower end. I bought into so many Prism breaks to be able to hit. I was hoping for an auto for Chris Olave from Prism. Didn't happen. This is the best I did out of all of those breaks that I bought into. A card numbered to 175, but it's green, so I was so happy to have it. It's better than hitting absolutely nothing, but yeah, the amount of money I put into breaks to hit like this and a couple of his base cards, not even silver, just base rookies. I should have just gone out and spent the money trying to get an auto myself. But his stuff is super hard to find. His autos and his like super short print cards on eBay are just really hard to find. And this is another card I spent way too much money on in breaks to try and hit an auto, and I got a base auto, not even a parallel. So you can see that the pen mark from where they've just set the card down on one that's just been signed. It's not ideal, but it's another auto into the collection. I do have quite a few, but they are, like I said, on the lower end, and I spent so much on Clearly Donruss breaks trying to hit one of these. Got one in the end, so happy to have it, but damn, I should have just gone out and bought one. But that is the story with breaks. They are incredibly hit and miss. All right, so here we're getting into... Oh, we've gone a little bit out of sequence. So one of the UFC fighters I was chasing this year was Erin Blanchfield. And I've had very little luck in hitting Erin Blanchfield. So this is a silver. I actually got these in a opening that I did on the channel. I opened a couple of select blaster boxes and was able to hit this one. So very happy to have it, but her stuff is also crazy priced and is not easy to find. So I'm on the lookout. There's still plenty of 23 UFC stuff to come. So I'm hoping I can hit a bit more of her stuff, and it just keeps popping up on eBay. Here's hoping anyway. I think I got this one just recently, actually. Was this out of one of my hobby boxes? I actually might have hit this out of one of my hobby boxes a few months back. Don Ross, I absolutely love Don Ross across any and all sports. I love opening it. It's just so much fun. So I was very, very happy to be able to hit one of hers. And just a base one again, but super happy to have it in the collection. The rated rookies are some of my favorite rookies getting about. So always keen to add my favorite fighters in the rated rookies if I can find them. So cool one to have. This is another one. I'm pretty sure I hit this in my Prism undercard. So I opened one box of Prism UFC this year, and that was undercard. I did open a couple of retail blasters, but they were absolutely rubbish. Do not buy Prism in retail for anything. It's just junk. It's just absolutely awful, and they charge way too much money for it. But this was one of the hits I got from that. Very, very happy to have it in the collection. Again, it's not a silver, it's just a base one. But her stuff is hard to find and is expensive, so it's just dust and stuff flying everywhere. So another one, very, very happy to have. Moving over into my main UFC chase for this year has been Jack Della. I've been really trying to find his stuff. He's really highly priced. Lots of people chasing his stuff as well because they believe he is destined for a belt. I honestly believe he's destined for a belt. Welterweight, he's going to have to come up against some of those top guys at some point. He's got a nice challenge coming up against Gilbert Burns. So I 100% believe he can get that done. His striking is immaculate. He's such a great fighter to watch. Very, very happy. So I've been trying to put together the Prism Rainbow of Jack Della. So I've got the purple, numbered to 149. That was a tough negotiation. The true blue, that one's numbered to 175. Just the hyper, so it's one of the more common ones. The ruby red wave, again, it's more of a common one, but not that I could hit it. This is the true red, numbered to 199. It's a very, very nice one. And the disco. So that would have been from undercard. But again, not that I could hit it, so I've had to go out and buy all of these, which has not been a cheap proposition. So the rainbow is well and truly underway, and I'll probably send all these off for grading so I can have them in my collection forever, because they all seem to be fairly well centered, which is unusual for Prism. Prism is usually horrible for centering and things. So they're all looking fairly good, and hoping I can get a nice grade on those, but we'll see. That brings us to our next lot of Dellas. So this is just a regular base that I actually managed to pull myself. This came out of a couple of select blasters that I uploaded onto the channel recently. Just a base, that's all I've managed to pull for him this year. So very, very disappointing. I'm going to have to try and get my hands on a bit more 2022 product, see if I can find some more, but yeah, has not been a very successful chase in terms of actually hitting them myself. And then I got all these from the same seller. This is my first international card purchase. So these I believe came from Singapore, all from the same seller. All won in an auction, definitely overpaid. It was hard to keep track of the bids and everything because it was all in US dollars, not Australian dollars. So I definitely ended up overpaying. But the seller was nice enough to combine postage on all of them, which saved me a ton of money, having them posted out to Australia. So I got the light blue. The light blue is numbered to 249, I think. Let's put the sticker over that. So that's a nice one. I will probably try and put together the rainbow of this one as well. And there's a light green up for sale that I've had my eye on. But again, the seller's not budging. The red... that should be to 199. Reds usually are to 199. Very nice. This is probably my favorite though, the white. These just look so good with the white border and the hollow accents. So this could very well be my favorite Della in my collection. That and the purple prism, I think. They just look the best. This is number to 125. So I haven't even taken them out of the top loaders they sent them in, but very, very happy with those additions there. So while we've got the UFC happening, so this came out of my Christmas video, the Mystery Madness video. This is from Card Lab. This was the most expensive repack of the break. I think it was $100. And I've been meaning to pick up a nice Volkanovski for a while. It's a shame it's not an auto. It's number 299, but there's some nice texture on the patch they've used there. And it's immaculate. And I love immaculate stuff. Probably not going to be able to get a box of 2023 immaculate because it's crazy expensive, but we'll see how we go. So I think that might be it for the UFC. So moving on to our next sport. So Women's World Cup this year, I actually watched a few games and suddenly discovered that I actually do like football, soccer, football. It's different. It's certainly very, very different to footy, to UFC, to cricket, all the other sports that I love to watch. But really, really enjoyed it. And Kyra Cooney-Cross is a name for the future. She is absolutely sensational, has gone over to Arsenal now, and she's making a name for herself at Arsenal. She's having an absolutely sensational season. She was Arsenal's Player of the Month for November, so she's definitely getting some recognition over there. So that one's numbered to 99, Pitch Queens from Donruss. That was out of a blaster, I believe. So very, very happy to have that. So I picked this one up off eBay. So I am collecting Sam Kerr, and it's a colour match. It's a cracked ice colour match. And I actually bought it because I hit this one, and I don't know if this video's gone up yet at the time that I upload this, but I hit this in a Donruss World Cup Hobby and Topps Chrome box opening that I did, and hit this one number off jumper number. That's usually the way it goes, isn't it? And it's also color match. So I basically got this one to match with this one. Absolutely love those cards. And picked this one up before I hit those ones. That's just awesome. I've always wanted a Tyson Beck card. His designs are incredible. They're really, really hard to come by. So I saw this one. It was the only one up at the time. There are several up on eBay now, all for a little bit more than I paid for it. So very happy to have this in the collection. That's not going anywhere. So that pretty much brings us to AFL. I'm pretty sure that's all we've got left now. So this year's Spectrums, I prefer last year's Spectrums. I liked the more artistic kind of paint design rather than this one. But got the Jazzy Garner and Emma Carney, so captain best and fairest, captains Jai and Luke, and best and fairest Jai. That's the redemptions there. The best thing about him is I managed to get them all numbered 29. So I think I hit that one in a break, and then this one popped up on eBay for the same number, and I was like, yep, gotta have it. Gotta have it. And it's just really, really cool that they're all numbered 29 out of 125. So very cool additions. That'll look very, very nice next to last year's Spectrum Redemptions. And over there. That still bugs me. The holes in the cards, man. Come on. There's got to be another way. This one I actually hit out of a legacy box myself. 31 of 60. It was definitely a surprise because I'd already hit another PC card out of that same box, and I usually just don't have that kind of luck. So it was really, really cool to see that one pop out, and I am going to be completing the Vortex North Melbourne set. They're just great looking cards. Absolutely love them. They're going to look fantastic next to each other. The first year of the AFLW getting their own card set, that's massive as well. I was so, so happy to see that. So thank you, Team Coach, for giving the girls their own set. Actually did a trade with somebody local. So I put up all the stuff that I didn't want onto Facebook Marketplace. Someone hit me up. I said I was only collecting the North Melbourne cards at that stage. And they hit me up and said, happy to trade the gold that I had, which was the Izzy Huntington, for the only gold that they had, which was a North Melbourne. So it was really, really nice of them to do that deal with me. Gold Star Wild, Emma Carney. Love it. And that also meant that the girls got their own trophy wildcards. And I had to have it. Absolutely had to have them. It's also a Tyson Beck design. These just look so cool. So as soon as I saw this pop up, it was the only one on eBay at the time. Had to grab it. Absolutely had to have it for my collection. And then this one. This one was a bit of a saga. I was keeping an eye on this one, and I think the auction ran like 4 times over. Like each auction was 5 or 7 days, and it ended 4 or 5 times without a bid being placed because the opening bid was just too high. And as soon as it dropped down to a price I was willing to pay, I made sure I got in there and I sniped it. So super, super happy to have this because this was the only one in all that time that those auctions were coming and going on eBay. It did not see another one come available for sale. Haven't seen another one since then. So these are obviously super, super difficult to hit. So I'm happy I snagged this one when I did. That's going to be one of my absolute favourites for the year, no doubt. So that brings us to, this is also a very new pickup. This is also from the Christmas video. So hit this out of a Cherry Pie, a repack from Cherry Collectibles, which is just crazy. I've had my eye out for one of these for 2 years. Anytime one did become available, either in a group or on eBay, I just wasn't in a position to be able to get it because I had committed to other things or just life didn't allow me to spend that kind of money. So to see this come out of a repack was just absolutely crazy to me, and so, so glad I now have it. That's Tom Powell's DPS set complete. I just need a Will Phillips gold and platinum, and they're not going to be easy to find. So that might be my chase for next year as well. So stoked to have that. That brings us to this pile here. Harry Sheezel, Copper, DPS, 115 of 175. When it comes to these kind of cards, I'm not bothered by number. I don't care if it's a number 1, jumper number, or, you know, just randomly 115 out of 175. I just want one for my collection. So was really, really happy to be able to get this one. Probably overpaid in hindsight, but it was one of the cheaper ones going around on eBay at the time. So just had to get it. Made a commitment, snagged it. And this one came up very, very shortly after that. Harry Sheezel Gold, 12 of 90. Again, overpaid, but it was one of the cheaper ones up at the time. I got these two super close together, which really, really hurt the bank account. So went a little bit quiet with the videos there for a little while because I couldn't buy any boxes to open because I'd committed to these. And yeah, that hurt. That certainly hurt. So the gold Shees just leaves me with the platinum. I'm hoping next year I can track one down, I can get one, but I'm not holding my breath on it because they're priced always over $1,000. And that's a big, big commitment for a card. That's huge. George Wardlaw, I hit this myself out of my legacy box. This is the PC hit I was talking about with the Jai Simkin Vortex. This one came out first. The Jai Simkin came out next, 106 of 175. Yeah. I was super, super happy to see that one. I think people are a little bit down on him and there's overhype maybe on the Shees. But this guy's going to be something. This guy is going to be a serious weapon. He got a late start compared to Harry, but he massively impacted games after he did get his start. So don't sleep on him. He's going to be something special and is actually eligible this year for the Rising Star. So he could win it this year because he didn't play enough games last year. So don't be sleeping on George. And that brings us to the gold George Wardlaw. What's cool about this one is I actually bought one and then about a week later I bought into a box break online and hit one. So this is the one I hit. I do have the one I bought somewhere around here, but I've probably got it packaged up to sell. 12 of 90. 12 of 90. Like I said, I don't normally care about the numbers, but it's just really, really cool that this happened completely by accident. Both the gold DPSs are 12 of 90 for George and Harry. They are very good mates. Drafted one after the other. Draft pick 3, draft pick 4. So it's very, very cool. The other one I hit was numbered in the 70s, I think, and the auto also wasn't as nice. So that's the main reason I'm keeping this one, is his auto here is much cleaner, and the number 6 on the one I bought had a real hook to the top of the number 6, and it just didn't look as clean, it didn't look as nice. So hanging on to this one because overall aesthetically it's a much nicer looking card. I do like the way he signs. You get a little bit more than a GW. So very, very nice cards to have in the collection. That brings us to our rookie supremacies. So again, I ended up with 2 Georges, bought one, and then a couple of weeks later participated in a break and hit this one. So keeping the lower numbered on this one that I scored from a break. The other one will probably go up for sale sometime this year. I don't see the point in having 2. So happy to have that one there. Got the Shees as well. So made sure I got in quickly and made a deal. Reasonable price considering it's Sheasel, so I was happy to pay what I paid for that one. I'm not going to go after the 25 ones. They're just crazy expensive and they're not signed or anything like that, so I'm going to leave those ones alone and focus on other cards that I could be getting. This is one of my favorites for the year. I didn't think Gem was going to look that good, so I didn't actually buy any boxes. I could have got a box with my SCC membership. Decided not to because they were like $600 each, and I was like, I have no idea if these are going to be any good. Should have got a box for sure. Would have made getting this one a bit easier. This one was a little bit expensive, but my favorite color is green, and my goal at the start of the year was to own every single Harry Sheasel card that comes out this year. I've got most of them. Obviously, the Supremacy to 25, the Platinum DPS is just going to be out of my reach for a little while. I've got the base version of this. I've got this one. I think there's like one other card of his that's come out this year that I don't currently own. Oh, and the Vortex. I don't have his Vortex. So still a couple to get in, but I feel like I've got the vast majority of them. So I'll get over to this one here. SCC Redemption, North Melbourne. So I got the draft class. This was, man, a bit of a pain. Like, got it, paid for it straight away, and contacted the seller after a week because he hadn't marked it as sent, and he was like, nope, definitely sent it. He never marked it as sent, even after I contacted him and said, hey, where's my card? Never marked it as sent. I had to ask him 3 times for a tracking number, so I was starting to get really, really nervous. Eventually, he sent me tracking. He sent me a picture of the envelope he sent it in. I don't know why he couldn't have done that straight off the bat. And then it went missing. On Monday morning, it was out for delivery with Australia Post. Didn't turn up. Didn't turn up the next day. I opened an investigation because the last time that happened, my cards just disappeared and I never got them back. Got a message from the seller on the Wednesday saying, hey, it's been found. It was lying around at the post office. They're going to deliver it today. And I eventually picked it up on Friday. So it took a week for me to actually get it from the Monday when it was supposed to be delivered, and actually picked it up from the post office on the Friday. And horrible communication from the seller. Really, really bad. So this is probably my most nervy purchase for the entire year because it wasn't cheap. They're numbered to 50. It's got Harry Sheasel and George Wardlaw on the card. So you can imagine it cost me a little bit, and then it just disappeared. And the seller was being really, really difficult about giving me tracking. So I was absolutely terrified that this was gone. Once I've hit stop on this video, I'm going to do up the envelope. I'm going to get this sent off for redemption. And that's going to be sitting pretty in my collection next to the other Supremacies. So super stoked to have it, but man, that nearly gave me a heart attack. And that brings us to, in terms of numbering, it is not the biggest card for the year. Not by far. I picked this one up, I want to say in like May, June, sort of around that time, when he still wasn't like an absolute shoo-in for it. Like, a lot of people were still saying Ashcroft was going to take it. So I picked it up. I don't want to say for how much, but yeah, it certainly had to be a bit quiet on the card buying front for a little while when I picked it up. Like I said, I don't care about numbering. I just really wanted one. So 47 out of 260. So it's not the biggest card in terms of low print run. But it's my first ever booklet. So I was so happy. A, when he won, because I kind of felt so vindicated in spending that money, because trying to get one now, yeah, good luck to you. But my first ever booklet in the collection. These are so cool. Select Do You Right. They send it out in the card armor, ready to display. So I'm going to have to see if this one will actually fit. Actually fit in my cabinet here. I don't think it's going to, so I'm going to have to figure something out to do with this one. But I definitely want to have it on display, because this is one of my all-time favorites. I kind of wish they did what they did with the Coleman and the Brownlow. They actually put like a little thing of the medal. They could have done that. They could have had the little medal there as well, but for whatever reason they didn't. The other reason why this is really, really cool and special is this is the first year they've done this. This is the first year Select have offered the Rising Star Redemption. So to have the first one done is really, really cool. And hopefully George or Colby McKercher or Zane Dersma can get it done next year, and I can get next year's one as well, if they do it. I think they will. These have been a really, really popular set, so I think they will definitely look to repeat again, and I kind of hope they do it in the format they did it, where they're not having Footy Stars and then Prestige come out a few months later, actually doing Footy Stars and the Hobby side by side. I think that's the way to do it. A very, very cool set. So that's the last one. That's the big one from my collection. Thank you so much to everyone who checked out a video this year, who dropped a comment, a like, who subbed this year. Thank you so much for your support. Anyone that follows me over on Instagram and interacts with my posts over there, I appreciate you guys so much. And 2024, it's only going to get bigger and better. We'll certainly hope it's going to get bigger and better, because last year was pretty huge. Purely by the amount of money I spent, and thank you Harry Sheasel for that. 2023 was massive, but let's see if we can go bigger again in 2024. Thank you for everything. We'll see you in the next one.